Hi and welcome to my tutorial on Google Classroom. This tutorial focuses on how to draw tests as an educator. Before going through, let's get started with different sessions. It is expected that you may have generated or created too many different classes, and you need to draw a test for a specific class. That class could be, for example, my tutorial class. And I'm going to click on tutorial. As you can see, tutorial at the last end. The last class is tutorial. I click there and it's reading. Now, tutorial class takes me to a space where I am to draw my test. But how this test is to be drawn, please look on the screen carefully. If you are using a phone, you will normally see stream at the bottom end of the page, class work, and people. If you, however, using a computer, you will see these at the top of the page. So what you are expected to do now is to draw a test or a quiz. Therefore, navigate to classwork. Can you see classwork at the bottom end of the page? Yes, classwork is there just before people. Click on classwork and this takes you to a space where you can draw your test. At this moment, it is time to find the space for your test. Can you see the plus sign surrounded by a blue field? If yes, click on that plus sign that is just above people. Click there and you will see different sessions. Section 1, one point you can create here is assignment. You can also create quiz. You can create questions. You can create materials. You can reuse posts and there can be a topic. But what we are interested in is drawing a test for our class. We therefore go to quiz. Click on quiz. Now quiz takes you to a space where you're going to see assignment title, which is required by default. You want to see description as to how of this instruction you want to give. You want to see points, which should be 100 points. You are seeing blank quiz in the purple field. You see set date, add topic. The first thing to be done is to click on create assignment title, which is required. I click on assignment title and I'm going to write my assignment title. This time I will say BAO. I'm going to abbreviate the course title. It's BAO 101 test 1. Yes, I have decided to draw my test and name it BAO 101 test 1. Remember, I'm using a phone. Now the next thing to be done is to navigate to the blank quiz. Can you see blank quiz there? The option is yours to give the instruction in the description. So you can say, take my quiz, you give just any instruction. But this time you want to navigate to blank quiz and click on blank quiz, which takes you to another screen. Click there and it's reading. Now blank quiz is taking you to the quiz session where you can draw your test. Now a quiz session is created. Look just below the purple field with the three lines and dots. It is written blank quiz. Please click on blank quiz. But remember, you are highlighted to quiz, questions, responses, settings, total points. But this time you remain on questions and click on blank quiz right on the purple field. Click there and I delete blank quiz. What did you remember me writing as the title? It was Bio 101 test 1, and that's my quiz title. I click down to where I have blank quiz again to change to what I have written up there. At times it comes automatically. Yes, as soon as you delete what you had there as blank quiz, the blank quiz, the title you've written up will now appear in this space because you've deleted what you had there. Again, it is asking you for description. Do you really want the description to be written? That's a general instruction you want to give. I will now say answer each question correctly. So answer each question correctly. Now this is my instruction and I expect the student to answer the question. Question number 1 is to be written. But where do you write the question? Can you see untitled question? If you can see that, click on untitled question. Delete the untitled question and write your question. So my question will be, this time is a multiple choice question and it reads, male is an individual with blank. So male is an individual with blank. What could it probably be? I can say without um, breast, without hair, without leg. Yes, this is my question. Male is an individual without breast, out head, out leg. Now, what could be the answer? In order to answer this question, remember, if you have multiple answers, you can always click to the next area. Can you see add option? If you can see add option, it means you still have the chance to add additional option. But you don't want to add too many options. Therefore, you navigate to setting up the question. Do you want this question to be answered before the student can go to the next stage? If yes, click on required. Required, if you click there, you will see it highlighted and it shows the students compared to answer this question before submitting. But you don't want to, so you unchecked it. But you are expected to answer this question because you want the student result to appear immediately the test is done. Therefore, read just below. Can you see the plus sign? Above the plus sign is a blue field, is a blue box-like structure with a correction mark. Click on that blue box with correction mark. If you click there, it takes you to a point where you can add, you can attach the points value for this question. I'm going to say this question was 25 points, and if it is 25 points, I must answer it. What could be the answer? Okay, so the answer is outburst. But remember, when I click on it, it is accepting that that's the answer. But remember, something was misspelled. So I want to rectify this misspelled word. There are a couple of misspelled words I have here. For example, I had our breast, out head, our leg, but I wanted to have said out breast, out head, and out legs. Therefore, I click on done. Can you see done on the screen? Yes, there is done just below. At the bottom of the page, you're going to see done, and I click on it so that I can do some correction. I want to make some corrections. So where am I going to correct? I'm going to put out. I'm changing that out to out, and I go down to change our leg to as well out with out, but uh, I'm going to put out legs. Yes. So this is how the question is. Now that I am done with this correction, I don't have to do anything further but to request additional question. What could be the next question? This question could be to generate the next space for a question. Please read down. Can you see a plus sign again at the bottom left end of the page? If yes, click on that plus sign and it takes you to the next question section. So I'm going to click there. Now I'm at the next point, and this time I want to write a question that requires the student answering by spelling a word. Say this is a fill in the blank question, and this student is going to answer it. Now, what do I say? My question is where, or I want to say like Liberia. Liberia is located in blank, sorry, in blank Africa. Now, Liberia is located in blank Africa. I want the student to fill in that blank. In order to get the result for that, I'm going to select different option. Can you see multiple choice? And there is an arrow just ahead of multiple choice. If yes, click on that arrow. It takes you to different question sections. This time, we want short answer for the question being asked. Therefore, I click on short answer. Can you see short answer? Just at the top of this dialog box. If yes, click on short answer. I click there, and there is a short answer space. Now this short answer, I need to answer it. I therefore click on the arrow, the correction mark that is at the bottom again, just before required, just above the plus sign. You want to see a correction mark in a box. Click there, and it takes you to the answer section. How many points this test worth for? This question worth, I'm going to say 25 points. So I click on 25. I'm expected to answer this question. Therefore, I click on add a correct answer. Can you see that space? Add a correct answer. I click there, and correct answer is highlighted. Well, Liberia is located in West Africa, and I'm going to write West right there. I don't have to put Africa because Africa is already in the question. Now, Google Classroom is such that if you give capital letters, the student must answer in capital letters. If you give small letters, the student must answer in small letters. So it is advisable to consider all options. Now that I started my sentence with a capital letter, I want to be I want to be clear with students. So if the student decides to start the answer with all capital letters, I want the student to be correct. So I click on add correct answer again and make all the words capital caps. So I say West, and this is it. But some students may write in small letters because they may not be familiar with the keyboard. So I'm going to create an option that has West as small letters all. Now this time I'm telling the app to mark any other answer other than what I have written wrong. Therefore, I'm going to say mark all other answers incorrect. I click on the box that states that, and I'm clicking. If you click on it, you must see the correction mark before you consider it done. Now that you've completed this, you need to go to the next question, and you click on next, the plus sign. What did I click on? It was the plus sign that I clicked on. Now I want to ask a question, and this question is a true or false question. So I'm going to say Cottington University is located in Liberia. And I want a true or false question. This is a true or false question. I click on the option. Can you see the option? Yes. Click there and write true. And the next option coming is obviously it should be false if not true. And I click on false. Now that I have had two options, true and false, I go to the next stage and click on the the correction mark that takes me to where I want to correct, place the right answer and allot points. I click there. So I click on it and it takes me to this section. I'm going to give 25 points for this. 25. Right? But the answer is actually true. Cottington University is located in Liberia. I click on true and it's highlighted. Well, I'm done with this. I can now go to the next question by clicking on the plus sign just below the lower left corner of this page has the plus sign, and therefore I click on the plus sign. Now it takes me to another question. Remember, my objective is to have 100 points. I have written 75 already, and I'm going to the next one. But how do I know that I have this question? Now, I have set my question on my entire database on 10 points margin. That's why it is always adding a 10 points to the next question. Can you see total point? And there is a 85. There is 85 there. But it's obviously not 85. I've gone 75 points. Now I go to the next question and I click on question. Can you see question down? Yes. Where I just went, there is a question. I click on question and I'm to write the next question. So this question states the college, I can say the college of natural Sciences has depart has the following departments. Yes, the College of Natural Sciences has the following departments. And I'm going to write my option now: biology, biology, chemistry, environmental science. My next option is biology, political science, environmental science. And my next option is chemistry, economics, business. Now I'm okay with my options. It is time for me to allot point to this question. And to allot points, I click on again this correction mark, click there, and allot how many points? 25 points. Now that I have given 25 points to a matched answer, it is noted that the College of Environmental Science will eventually contain biology, chemistry, environmental science departments. Therefore, I click on that. It doesn't contain political science. It doesn't contain economics or business. So it's not right. Now that I have completed my questioning, the next thing to be done is to set this parameter set and have this quiz assigned. Can you see questions? Responses above, I'm speaking about what we have above now. Where you have Bio 101 test 1, you have questions, responses, settings, total points. I'm going to click on setting because I want to have a setting of this test. I click on setting. Setting is taking me to a point where I can navigate and do just everything correct. So to do that, I'm going to read through. You see, make this a quiz, and on A you will see assign point value, set answers, and automatically provide feedback. Allow it to remain as it is because it is a test. The next thing to be done is to read through immediately after each summation release grade. So if a student gets done with this test, the student can see his or her grade automatically. If you don't want to do it, you can uncheck that. So I can click on it and say, well, I just don't want my test to be given for the answer to be released. Instead, I'm going to review it before I can give the answer. So you can now click on later after manual review. So later on after manual review will enable you to review your questions and then release the results. If you want the result to be released automatically, of course, allow it to remain on immediately after each submission. Now you move to the next stage. You see respondents setting. Miss question. Do you want your students to know the question they've missed? If yes, you allow it to be highlighted. If not, you remove it. So we're saying respondents can see which questions were answered incorrectly. But sometimes you don't want the student to understand which question was answered incorrectly, but it wrongs the question. It says if it is wrong, it considers it to be wrong. Therefore, you uncheck that and it's not highlighted. Correct answer. Do you want the students to see the correct answer? So respondents can see correct answer after grades are released. You have already answered these questions. Do you want these students or your student to see the correct answer to the question? If yes, you allow it to remain as it is. If not, you uncheck it. You uncheck it. Well, point value, I would not encourage you to uncheck this point value. Allow it to remain as it is. because you've already unchecked the upon once. So a student can see that he or she received a point or not for a specific question. And you can come to set the default point to 25 because you've already had 25 for each of the questions. Go further, you see responses. Manage how responses are collected and protected. Click on that arrow. I'm reading responses. So under it, you're going to see manage how responses are collected and protected. Click on the arrow and it's down. You are encouraged to allow it to remain unverified. If you say verified, it means the student has the right, will have to log into the app or insert password, that is the student's email, in writing this test. If not, the student will not write the test. That is done. Send respondents a copy of their response. Do you want that to happen? If yes, click on the arrow which takes you to yes. So here it says when required, always. You decide the option. Allow response editing? No, this is not necessary. So allow that to remain as it is. Restricted to users in a specific institution? If yes, you allow this to be highlighted. So for now, it's Cottington University. Therefore, Cottington University is inserted. You allow it like that. Limited to one response? Say yes. You don't want the student writing this test over and over and again. Therefore, you allow it to be restricted to just a response. Immediately the student gets done with the test, he or she is not going to see anything again. Next, presentation. Click on the arrow again for presentation. You see manage how the form and responses are presented. Click on the arrow and you want to see show progress by. As the student is writing this test, it is telling the student how far he or she has gone. Click on that. Shuffle question order. If these students are many, it is important that you shuffle question order and it presents question 1 for the first person and that question 1 goes to question 5 for the second person, and that makes sense. So that is done. Still with the correction, after submission, what should happen? It reads, your response has been recorded. You have the option to also edit this place by clicking on edit. Next, show link to submit another response. This has already been deactivated from the previous stage when you said this form is restricted to an individual who's going to write just one time. So there is no need to talk about that. View result summary, of course. You can disable autosave for all respondents. That is, if this student is writing the test and the student decides to refresh his or her page or leave the page and do different thing, the student progress is not going to be saved. Therefore, you click on it. You see, respondents will lose their progress if their browser closes or refreshes. This is a safeguard space which prevents students from mostly thinking about spotting. So that is done. The next area is form default. If you click there, it tells you you're going to verify and there is no problem with that. It's okay. Question defaults, you can click there and it tells you make question required by default. So do you want the student to answer each of these questions prior to leaving this page? If you want, you consider it. If not, you leave it as it is. Now, what have we done? We've done all of our modification and make sure on these different modification that we've done, they are important to getting your result as expected. So this is done. Now that it is done, you can now leave this page and go to your original page. Where's your original page? The app you were in. So remember, you were drawing your test in the app, or you were drawing this test on a computer. You have to navigate to the next page. If I say the next page, there was another space opening where you could do your work. Now you are done with this work, go back to your page. What I'm going to do is to find my next page, and I go this way. There are different sections within my phone now. I go until I can reach to where I'm supposed to be. So this is reading. Now, the thing is, why my question was, I was taking time to read, something may have happened. So I'll go back to the tutorial. I'm supposed to have my question here. Therefore, I click again on classwork. Now, my classwork takes me to this place, but my work may not be seen. What do? There is a post that I may have. So Google Classroom has a space for you keeping your work. If you don't see it to where it's supposed to be, you can now click on the plus sign, repeat the process, but you're really not going to go through the entire process as you think. So what do you want to do? You want to add attachments. This form is not what you were using. Delete this form and click on attachments. Now, where do you want to take your attachment from? Remember that form you were on? There is a name attached to it. Click on Add from Draft. What you were working on has been saved in draft. Click there and it's going to read. So it's reading your recent draft. What was your recent draft? It was Bowel. Your recent draft is Bowel 101 Test 1. Click on it. Can you see it? Bowel 101 Test 1? Yes. Click there. And you will now see below is select. You click on Bowel 101 Test 1 because it's the test that you had there. Click on select at the bottom end of your page, select, and the test is back as Bowel 101 Test 1. You are doing this because the test disappeared. Now you go back and click on assignments. On assignments, assignment title, write Bowel 101 test 1. And this is done. Now I want to navigate and go to my original, to the page where I was writing my exam. So I can now scroll and go back. This page is still open. And these are exact things I was doing. Now on a normal scale, when you will navigate and come to this page as we did in the previous lesson where I click on blank quiz, it took me to this page and these are my questions. Once I get done with this place, I can now minimize or scroll to the next page by switching to the next screen. So I do this and I can now come to the next screen. Now I've clicked there and it's still intact. This was the right thing I needed. Now it is time for me to format this page. Do I want to submit or assign this quiz to the student automatically at this time? Maybe no. I want to do it tomorrow. I've written my test today. I want it to be assigned tomorrow, and the student will write this test tomorrow in this class. I click on Set Due Date. On the entire page, can you see Set Due Date? If you can see it, click on Set Due Date, and Set Due Date question dollar box has opened. This is telling you at this time you are about to select, the test will be closed. Student will not have the authority to write this test. Student will not have the means of keep writing this test if this time gets elapsed. So what do? I want this test to be a mini study next day. I click on, let me show you what now you can see December 17, 2024. I'm going to click on it. Click there, and it takes me to the calendar. Today is actually Monday, and I want my test to be administered tomorrow, which is Tuesday. I click there, and it's highlighted. Now I click OK. Can you see OK just close to cancel? Yes. Click on OK, and it is there. But what's the exact time I want this test to be delivered to me? That is, the student should be done with taking this test. This is a 5 minutes test. My class starts at 10 o'clock a.m. Therefore, I'm going to set my test since the class starts at 10 o'clock a.m. I want to enter the classroom and tell the students that they have a test online. Therefore, my exam is to be closed at 10 a.m. I click on the time. Can you see 11:59 p.m.? If yes, click on it and drag that blue field to 10. Remember, my class is 10 o'clock, but I want my test result to come to me at 10:10. Therefore, I click on AM. Can you see AM and PM just before, after 59? Yes, click on AM and drag to 10. So 10:10, it means my test will arrive just to me. This test is a 5 minutes test, and I'm going to release the test just in time. I click OK, and I'm going to say close submission after due date. I close it, and I save that. This is already saved. Do I want to schedule this test, or I want to save it as a draft? Now, look up there. Can you see a sign where you have three dots just after a sign above? I'm talking about on the top, at the top of your page. Yes, if you have a sign there, click on the three dots just ahead of a sign. Now, if you click there, check on the bottom page, the dollar box has opened. It's telling me schedule, save draft. This is the important thing about it. If you click on save draft, it is going to automatically save this your work, and the option will be yours to assign it at a later date. But maybe you don't want to save as draft, but you may not have the time to allow this test to appear to the student. So you set this test at a time where a student will be informed that the test will arrive. I'm going to schedule this test now. So I click on schedule just above save draft. Click on schedule, and it's telling me, when do you want this test to be scheduled? Can you see December 17, 2024? I click there again, and I want it to be scheduled tomorrow to the students. I click on 17, and I click OK down. OK. Now, I have already set my time to 10:10. Therefore, I click on 11:59 p.m. I click on 10, and I'll drag this to 10. Now that I have already said my test should arrive at 10:10, the student should no longer write. I will give a 3 minutes grace period to the start time. Therefore, I'm going 10:02. 10:02 to 10:05, a 3 minutes grace period, and the test should arrive at 10:05. So 10:05, my test will arrive. I click on AM, and all is set. Now, if I click on OK, it means my test will be scheduled for 10:02, but this test may arrive at 10:05, for there should be little delay in the timing. I click there. Well, all is done. I can now click save. Because I have done this, I have scheduled my test. Can you read up right below Bio 101 Test 1? It reads scheduled for December 17, 2024 at 10:02 a.m. If that is okay for me, I say okay, it's okay. That's the time the test will reach the students. But remember, there is a grace period of 3 minutes. Therefore, the actual time this test will reach the student is 10:05. Look above. Can you see save? Just below, above Bio 101 test 1 on the upper right corner. Now click save. Now it's reading. Well, you've completed your test and your test is saved. The usher is now with the student. Just inform your class that the test will arrive latest 10:05 and the test runs for 5 minutes. Immediately after the 5 minutes, this test will be done. Well, that's all you got to do. I'm going to create a tutorial that tells you how to collect your grades immediately the student gets done with writing the test. Thank you for following. Join me as I present more tutorial about online learning, about using technology in your daily learning or teaching procedure. See you. I'm Augustine Samolu.